What's going on? Born for Sports, and it's the start of the Mets spring training and all of baseball. But
Yes.
we here to talk about some good things. Because if you look outside right now, chances are, especially if you're on that East Coast, you see a lot of snow, ice, and cold weather out there. Man, it's February 22nd. We done with all that. We don't want no more of that.
Yes, sir.
So when you look on TV and you see baseball, it gives you that good feeling inside that spring is coming and baseball season is starting. What's going on out there? Got my guy Ramon in the house here to talk some Met baseball and anything baseball for that matter. Ramon, welcome to the show. How you feeling out there, brother?
Feeling good, man. How you doing? How you doing?
Oh, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm good. It's a good thing to see, some baseball to talk about again. And instead of, all off season, especially as a Met fan, all season,
Mm-hmm.
hey, who's coming? Who's going to be on the team? Rumor here, rumor there. Is Alonso coming back?
Mm-hmm.
Soto signed this, that, and the third. It's good to finally see now baseball on the TV today.
Yep. And we're gonna have baseball almost every day until November now.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
no
yeah.
doubt about it.
Everything we have off is like what? All-Star break?
Yes, sir.
And then
Yes,
that's it.
sir.
Let's go.
Right. Or right before the break, before things get started, but it's good to see. Josh in the comments commenting with the flames. Josh, what's goody, bro? Good, what's goody, man? How you feeling out there? I know you feeling good. We got some things to talk about. Today, just so everyone knows, we are going to touch on some topics. You know, spring training. Mets are currently playing right now, and it's a 4-1 lead in the bottom of the fourth at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And we got some things we're going to discuss today. We're going to talk about some things we saw during the game, first game for Juan Soto. We'll definitely touch on that,
Yes,
and
sir.
also some things that we're going to talk about, what we project and what we want to see, for the roster to take shape, as that's what spring training is all about. It's just all about getting everyone in shape, ready to go. Of course, number one goal, avoid injuries. And that's the tough part, but also, getting the roster together and seeing what pieces fit to go take up north to start the season for the boys of summer. And let's just go quickly right now into what we see during the game. As it was a lot to talk about there, coming in. And Juan Soto, first game as a Met. What would the lineup be? Now, before we talk further about it, yes, this is a split squad game for the Houston Astros, so they did not have their starters out there, as they have their other side of their split squad in another part of Florida playing, or whatever it is. But the games are played. The Mets played some starters today, and key starters that everyone wanted to talk about from the beginning. So we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. First of all, the lineup today was Lindor, Soto, Alonso. Is the top three, in my opinion, I want to see
Mm-hmm.
in
Agreed.
this lineup. I know there's been some talk like, hey, maybe we bat Soto third, or maybe Alonso ahead of him, which is just foolery to me to even think about putting Alonso ahead of Soto, which is another story for another day. I saw a lot of New York media trying to push that narrative, which was crazy to me. But our top three guys who you would think going into the season are a big part of what is going to make this lineup dangerous play today, and we're going to talk about that. And let's just get to the elephant in the room, to the big story. Juan Soto's debut as a Met. And what did he do, Ramon?
He
Now,
wasted
yes,
no freaking time. No time. He was like, hey, Met fans, I'm going to appreciate myself to you guys even more. Like, I'm just going to hit a home run right now. Like, here you go. I'm just giving you a preview. Here's a taste. That's pretty much what he was telling us. He made that
absolutely.
shit look so easy too, man. I was
Yeah.
like, come on, man. Like, and he's only 26. He's only 26.
He's ours. He's
Oh
ours.
man.
This is definitely our life. We have basically two MVP candidates in the same lineup. And as a Met fan, we all know the story. If you're a Met fan, diehard Met fan, a part of the Met fan fraternity, you know what I'm saying? We have never had a MVP as a New York Met in the regular season. We've never had a player win the MVP, even though I feel like
Darryl was robbed.
Darryl was robbed, a long
Dwight
time.
Gooden was robbed.
Dwight Gooden was robbed a long
That
time.
85 season, he should have won the MVP, but then they give Roger Clemens the MVP in 86. But let me just sip on my Pepsi right now.
What about that? To me, the biggest one was Darryl. He got robbed. He got absolutely robbed.
They split the vote between. That was the year they split the vote between him and Hojo, isn't it? And they gave it to I remember.
Yeah. I believe they gave it to what was it, Will Clark? I believe. I have to fact check that.
Some shit. Will Clark or Keith Mitchell, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. He was robbed. But the facts are the facts. Last year, Francisco Lindor, and I'll stand on this hill. I felt like he was the MVP last year because Shohei, as great a player as he is, and no one doubts his talent, he was a DH the whole season. And yes, he had a 50-50 season, whatever. But when you go to the element of what the MVP award is supposed to mean, I felt like Lindor should have won it. But they gave it to Ohtani. It is what it is. But Juan Soto finished third in that voting in the American League with the Yankees last year. And now you combine that, and you put Francisco Lindor leading off, and you got Juan Soto hitting right behind him. Oh, it's gonna be a movie this year, y'all. It's gonna be a movie.
We may see like career highs for fucking Pete. Honestly, in RBIs. I'm not gonna worry about the home runs. Whatever he doesn't, Pete is gonna hit home runs. But if he starts driving in runs like we know he can, because he has before in the past.
Yeah.
If he starts driving in runs, like especially those two guys are going to be on the base all the freaking time, at least 40% of the time.
No doubt about it.
And if he does what he's supposed to do, it's not so far-fetched to say that he could be leading the league in RBIs, honestly.
No doubt about it. I mean, and that's what you want. That's what you want. I mean, there is no excuses for Pete Alonso this year. There is none. His numbers have declined the last 2 years. And you can make the case it's because of, it's a combination of things.
It was the lineup. It was the lineup.
The lineup.
They kept moving him up and down. It's like we don't know where the hell to put him because the lineup was never stable.
Yeah. And also, he just hasn't gotten the job done with runners on base as he's done in the past. Now, there's reasons for that, but the numbers don't lie. This is a year there is absolutely no excuses for Pete Alonso to be productive. And if he wants the contract that he feels he deserves, this is going to be the year he's going to have to get it. Because, I mean, the market is the market. The market spoke its ugly head. And
it screamed at him. It didn't speak at him. It screamed at him. It was telling him, yo, dude, we get it. Like, you value yourself a certain way, but that's not what the market says.
Absolutely. And Josh says, I got Pete at 35 homers, only 25 RBIs.
I would take that in a heartbeat.
I'll take that honestly, right there.
I would take that in a heartbeat because that means that he was actually driving in runs when it's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
He was not just depending on he just won't be depending on home runs. And that's his biggest issue. Like he needs to I get it, you're a power hitter. You need to learn how to use the whole field and go for some gaps sometimes. Sometimes you just need a base hit. We don't need a 3-run shot sometimes. Keep momentum going. Keep it going.
And Ramon, you nailed it. Because that's what I felt like I saw all season from him last year, was him just trying to hit home runs, not playing the team ball game, doing what's necessary to win the games when we needed you. Hey, shorten up. Nice throw. Is that Terrence that just threw out that kid? Good throw. Runner out at second base. Yeah, no, who was that? That's another catcher. Didn't catch his name, but it wasn't Terrence. I don't know who was catching there. I'll check back later. But yeah, man, I believe that was who was that? Was that Alvarez? I don't think that was Alvarez. I hope it was. That was a good throw.
Senger? Hayden
Yeah.
Senger.
Yeah. You're going to have to bear with this audience because you know how spring training is. You're going to get a lot of kids you never heard of and might not even be nowhere near the MLB or the minor leagues when this is all said and done. It could be a roster invite. We'll check back on that later. But good throw by that kid. He threw
Good throw.
Cannon there. But, that's what I saw from Pete last year, bro. I saw him, too busy worrying about hitting home runs, not timely hitting, not getting the base hit when we needed it. And just, I don't know whether it was pressing or he was just like, you know what, I'm going for the downs. I'm trying to get this big contract. The pressure's on my neck. I'm going to have to make up for my slow first half. So I got to get, those things all play a factor. But this year, there is absolutely no excuse. The lineup is deep. The lineup is good. And the pressure is not on him to be the number one RBI guy because you got Francisco Lindor. You got the great Juan Soto now. Just play your game, dude. Play your game and get the job done. That's what has to happen. And if that does happen, this lineup, I mean, let's get into the lineup, man. Let's get into this lineup.
And before we do that, I also just want to give a quick shout out to Pete for the awesome improvement he's made throughout the years playing defense. Like he went from a below average defender where you were like, no, this dude is going to be a DH for all his career to like he saves runs.
He's good with scooping
his butt off. Like he saves so many. Because Vientos, I love Vientos, but he throws wild.
Oh yeah,
and he saved Vientos' butt a lot last year.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
And Francisco Lindor would tell you the same thing. There were some throws that Lindor made that he had no business making, and Pete, I have no idea how he made the plays that he did sometimes. So
absolutely,
I do want to say that Pete, he has made strides in that. Now, if he can keep that up and include like how he was just a few years ago, dude, you'll be back next year with a bigger contract. Just do that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think his strength is scooping, more so like the scoops around the bag. His range, I mean, it's about what you would expect for a man his size.
That size, yeah.
It's nothing spectacular, but I guess, and to me, the biggest thing with Pete defensively is two things. Number one, he is a heart attack to trying to catch pop-ups. He's a heart attack. That's number one. That drives me crazy. He's a heart attack, bro. Every time that ball's in the air, he's going to I'm just like, please don't. And you saw what he did in the Milwaukee series that almost, before he had the spectacular moment, which thank God for that. And thank you for that, Pete. You'll always go down in Mets history for that home run. And also, basically how he throws to first base with pitcher covers. He has to work on that. He
throws it low and kind of side on.
The accuracy thing.
Makes the pitcher have to go down further than he should.
But the main thing, like you said with him, is the scoops around, saving bad throws. That's what you want from your first baseman. That is an important part because, when the pressure's on, balls get hit hard and infielders trying to make plays. They're not always going to be an accurate throw. So you got to be able to make those plays too. And yes, he has made big strides in that. Let's hope he continues to improve. And that's not ever an issue. Yep. So, hey, Pete Alonso is going to have a lot of opportunity this year to be who he should be. And in my opinion, he couldn't have been in a better situation if he wants to put those numbers up. I mean, any of the end of the team, they're going to look at him like, dude, we need 130, 140 RBIs from you, man. But on this team, he doesn't have to always be the man now. The man are Juan Soto and Francisco Lindor. You know what I'm saying? And Pete can just be his – because in my opinion, Pete is not the type of player that's the rah-rah guy, let's go, whatever. Lead, let's do this. He's more of he just wants to be himself and be comfortable. Sometimes he gets in his own head. You know what I'm saying? He starts chasing pitches. Just when a relaxed Pete Alonso is what we want. And I feel like Juan Soto entering this team is going to get him there.
I agree.
Yeah. So let's see here. Lindor, debuted today. He had an RBI ground out in the second inning, and now he's out of the game. So like those things starting to go. And listen, guys, that's what made the whole the Juan Soto home run fun, because we all know what it is. Anyone that knows baseball, the pitching is ahead of the hitting right now. It just is what it is. You're not going to see guys mashing like that all crazy out the gate. It takes time. The pitches are ahead, and it was nice to see that. But all you want to see is quality at bats, guys working on their time and then staying healthy, man. That's what you want, man. So, and Lindor got that done. And speaking of Pete Alonso, he walked his first 2 at bats.
He looked very patient. Yep, he looked very patient. And he didn't look all like. Honestly, you could see the difference in his body language already.
Yeah.
Like he was tight. Like even during spring training, he kind of like was always like. Now he's kind of just like, all right, like I didn't get the big contract I wanted, but I am getting paid. He's still getting paid.
Right.
And look at this lineup. Like he's like, oh, like look who's batting behind me. Like Alvarez. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like, look who's batting in front of me. Soto. Okay, I'm good. I'm gonna take it easy. I'm gonna relax. So he looked good. He looked just calm. Because before, always.
Did you see that strike? This thing about we challenging strikes and stuff in spring training, man. I was like, and he won his challenge when he did it.
Yeah, yep.
That led to that first walk.
Yeah, that's a new. They had it last year in the minors, that new robo system, and they're just trying it for spring training this year. There's nothing. They're not bringing it in on Major League Baseball this year. At the earliest, it's going to be next year.
Right.
So
man, we are heading to robo fast.
They still have to get all the kinks out and everything. And then people are just like, oh, then we don't need umpires anymore. And I'm like, no, you still kind of need umpires, because who's going to make the rulings? Like you still need. So
I agree with you, bro. We do, but they got to help themselves, man. Because if they continue to keep being bad at what they do and not doing their part, it's gonna eventually happen, and that sucks. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't
I like the human element of baseball.
I do too, man.
Because not everything is gonna be borderline calls. I can understand. I get it. Like when something's like, can it be? Oh, but if it's like right down the middle, right down the middle and you're Angel Hernandez and you're calling it a ball, like there's a freaking problem. And that happens way too much. You know what I'm saying?
No, I swear, I felt like he was a troll after a while. I just felt like he was trolling. I swear to God.
Yeah, I can see how you would think that, especially like after.
Can someone possibly be that bad? Like, it's crazy.
It wasn't even that. Like, then he has the audacity, right? Like, he's voted the worst umpire. He still gets to do the All-Star Game, playoffs, World Series, and then he has the audacity to sue for discrimination.
The guy is crazy, bro. It was almost like he was trolling, bro. I don't know what the hell was going on.
I can see. Like, I've had this conversation plenty of times. Like, this dude he's not real. He's not real. It's like he was trying to outdo Joe West.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But at least Joe West was more like a comical, but he was good at his job. This guy was just incompetent and that
guy is wild. Blaze, A-Mac checking in. What's goody, my brother? Checking in. Good luck this year, fellas. Go Yankees. Yes. Go Yankees. I know there's gonna be you guys got some questions. You guys got some question marks going on, but I think the Yankees will still be a solid team, and I think they will be in the mix in the American League as long as they stay healthy.
Like I told you earlier, with that pitching staff, I put that pitching staff against anyone else's. Honestly,
if healthy, they are very good with that.
Yeah, Cole, Fried, Rodon, and Gill. That top four. Yeah, that's and if Fried was healthy last year, and he still has elite stuff. That's just the key right there. He stays healthy. That 1-2 punch of him and Cole. Oh my God,
they have to find a way, and I think that was the key to the reason why they went so. They jumped out the windows, giving him 8 years just to get him in there. They have to find a guy that's going to take that pressure off of Gerrit Cole to be dominant every single start. And listen, I'm not here to say we should feel sorry for Gerrit Cole because he's getting paid a lot of money to be who he's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? That's why you signed him. That's what you expect. Every Yankee fan should expect Jared Cole to be dominant. You know what I'm saying? Because of what his contract said, and not for nothing, his history with Houston before he got there. That's what you want. That's what you paid for. But you have to have another guy in that rotation you can count on, and I have not seen that since they got Jared Cole. Now, Max, like you mentioned, Ramon, Max Fried is very talented. There's no doubt about it. We know him well with the Atlanta Braves. That guy can pitch, man. He can pitch, and I am so glad he's gone and not over there no more.
Yankees.
Thank you for that, Yankees. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't getting no hate from me. And honestly, as a baseball fan, I'm with us being Met fans, we are used to really being behind our pitching because that is the rich history of our franchise. More about pitching than about position players, dominant position players. Most of our history is about our pitching. So you're not going to get no hate from us. But I don't think the contract was a great contract to give him 8 years or any pitcher 8 years. But, hey, the guy is talented. The Yankees pitching staff is up there with any team in the league, okay, if healthy. And that is the identity of, I feel like, the Yankees have to be going forward this year. Now, maybe at the trade deadline, they might trade for a bat. Who knows? But, hey, this pitching staff can keep you in games every week, man. Every game. No doubt about it.
The two teams I say to watch during the trade deadline, depending on if everything goes awry for them. Obviously, the Blue Jays, because of Vlad Jr.'s contract situation and Bo Bichette's contract situation. Because he's a free agent going into this year also, and people keep forgetting about him. He's an all-star also, and he's a damn good shortstop. So,
and position value-wise, not to cut you off, value-wise, he might be more valued around the league than people think. Than Vladimir Guerrero.
Yeah.
Because you see how the first base
shortstop is a premium position. Yeah. And they want catcher, shortstop, center field. Those are it. Right up the middle. That is it. Like, seriously. Like, if you can play one of those three positions.
Great point.
You good. And then the second team, with everything that's going on with the ownership and everything, the San Diego Padres.
I'm waiting on that.
Michael King, they're going to be good because they have the talent. But if shit goes awry, there's going to be a fire sale. I feel that in my gut.
Yep. They got a lot of issues over there.
They went from just a few years ago signing Manny Machado and all these other people. Do you see how much money they spent this offseason?
Right.
It was almost non-existent.
Right.
They almost spent no money. So that's telling me that the new owners, they're just like, you know what? Like, we're just going to watch and see what happens first.
I think that's definitely what they're doing, bro. I totally agree with you. And I think the entire league is watching what's going on with San Diego because now, obviously, the Dodgers, they want San Diego to have an off year so they get rid of those because they're such a pain in the neck to play them. Yeah. And that's their rival. And the Padres are they match up very well with the Dodgers usually. So, they're hoping San Diego kind of has that slow start and those whispers continue to go. And then all of a sudden they do make moves. But the entire league is at the trade deadline, like you said, is going to be watching what San Diego does because they have premium talent over there. Now, they got two pitchers that are going to probably be the top names on the market, on the trade market, and Michael King and Dylan Cease because, hitting those walk years. Is Michael King facing a walk year or is he still under team control? I believe he's still under team control, right?
I think he's still under team control.
Okay, but he's available, and I think they probably prefer to keep him overseas, in my opinion. So, but Dylan Cease is going to be a free agent after the season, man, and team contenders are going to be after him, and it better be one of them in Queens that's going to be after him because he fits this team like a gun. I would love Michael King, but I know it's going to cost a hell of a lot more to get him. And I'm not sure if David Stearns would be down for that. You know what I'm saying? But
my biggest issue is that every team comes to the Mets and they ask for Brandon Sproat. And it's like,
no, you know how I feel about that kid.
Yeah, dude, we feel the same way. I've already told you. Like, some teams, just like, okay, the Yankees, untouchable was Jason Dominguez. He was untouchable because they have offered there were rumors about they're offering like so many different players for Jason Dominguez, and the Yankees were like, hell no.
Yep.
Now
Yep.
he's their starting left fielder, and we'll see what he's going to get, what they're going to get from him. That's the
Yes.
same way I feel about Brendan Sproat.
No doubt
How
about
they
it.
felt about him, honestly. Because
I mean,
watching him, he's just been smooth, so smooth, and he's made the transition from like single A to triple A, just
bro,
really
the
easy.
The ball pops.
Oh
out
my
his
gosh!
hand. You know that you just know certain prospects have the it. You know what I'm saying? They just have that. You know what I'm saying? That if you develop, if they develop what you believe they can be, they're gonna be a big time acquisition and factor, and that's what other teams around the league see as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been high on this kid. You know me. I've been high on this kid for 2 years already. I said, no, I want that kid. Even when Christian Gonzalez was up last year, I said, I want Sproat up too, eventually. You know, and he was zooming in the system before he snagged in AAA, which he admitted, you know, he kind of was pressing and things like that. Maybe trying a little too hard, trying to hope that they'll bring him up to the big club last year.
I think that's exactly what it was.
Yeah. You know, and that can happen with kids. You know, you're having so much success, you're flying through the system so fast, and then all of a sudden you're facing a different tier of players that are right there ready to get to the big league, just like you now. And you know, he's pressing and he hit a bump, but that's okay. That's okay.
Exactly.
I actually like that because I want these guys to face some adversity before they get to the big leagues. Because in the big leagues, they're gonna face some. And some of those kids don't know how to handle it right away.
They don't bounce back, and then they flame out. That's it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I like that. So this kid has the ace potential. I feel listen.
And he mentally and he's mature. You know,
yes,
like he's
you can see it.
Yeah, like he doesn't look like he's a party kid either. Like he just wants to get in there, do his job, and just help them win. And he seemed like he's been like that, like just coming up through the system. So that's a good sign.
Absolutely. And you could see it, man. And I haven't felt like that for a pitching prospect with the Mets since I felt like that with Matt Harvey, Noah Syndergaard, Zach Wheeler, and Steven Matz all came up. And I remember in the group, everybody was telling me, oh, 4 aces. Remember all those posts getting
4 aces? Four aces?
4 aces. 4 I was like, you guys watch. These guys, more than not, are going to be ace caliber pitchers. And we got to a World Series with those guys. You know what I'm saying? But, hey, they all took turns. DeGrom as well. And you know how DeGrom was with us. And if you look at that tier, Jacob DeGrom, future Hall of Famer, in my opinion, probably the best pitcher of this era before the injuries. Okay, he's been that guy. You know, Syndergaard had his moments, but he flamed out. Hey, arm trouble. He was never the same after that injury he had. With the what was it again?
His lat.
He had the surgery. The lat thing was never the same. We all know Matt Harvey. He was one of the most dominant. He was on his way. And then the rat trick, whatever syndrome thing he had that procedure done. That was it for
him. And come on, let's be real. And the New York nightlife.
And the nightlife, exactly. He got his head got too big with the nightlife and the whole stardom. He just didn't handle it well.
Besides the injuries, you can see a lot of parallels between him and Dwight Gooden. Honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. In a lot of ways, you know, too much partying, you know. There was also rumors of drugs involved with him too at times, you know, stuff like that. Just the celebrity thing ate him up. You know what I'm saying? And then when he got injured and he got that major injury, he just couldn't bounce back.
That was it.
Yeah. And Matt Harvey was that guy when he was on. He was that guy. He was box office. Him and DeGrom were box office, man. When they were on top.
You know what? People were gonna act like he wasn't. Like when he was the Dark Knight. Like Citi Field was always freaking. That place was rocking
every time. Must see TV. Must see TV. And we didn't have a lot going on when he first came up either. Let's be honest. We were still in the doldrums.
Remember when he outdueled Steven Strasburger in front of everybody over there in Citi Field? That place was
Harvey's better.
Come on, man! Like, and they're gonna. You know what it is? People rewrite history. That's what it is.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, they're gonna act like that he didn't do anything. You know, that he wasn't. He was very important to that little run that the Mets had. He really was.
He really was, man. He really was. And, we'll always remember that game. Was it game 5 or was it where game 4, game 5 or whatever, in the World Series against the Royals, where he was just so dominant for 8 innings. And, Terry didn't take him out. He didn't take him out when he gave up the leadoff hit, and it went the way it went. If Familia comes in earlier, maybe we find a way to win that game. You never know how that series would have turned. You never know how that series would have turned. But Matt Harvey, that performance he had that night until that 9th inning was amongst the best in the history of baseball, in my opinion, in the playoffs. And, you talk about a guy in New York baseball that said, we on my back tonight. That's exactly what he gave us that night. So it was a shame it went that way. And, look at Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler, a lot of people used to give me shit about Zach Wheeler too. Oh, Wheeler, he's overrated. And Brody Van Idiot messed that up, okay? And the Wilpons messed that up. Because there's no doubt in my mind, brother, and I know you agree with me, if Steve Cohen was the owner at that time, Wheeler would have never got away.
Never.
He would have never got away.
Never. He would still be here right now. He'd be the ace of the rotation.
Yep.
We wouldn't even have to be worrying about like some of the signings that we made. Honestly,
none,
whether they're hurt or not. Like we probably don't even make those signings because you put Wheeler at the top of this rotation. Wheeler, Manea, Senga, Holmes, Peterson.
Yeah,
I'd take that in a freaking heartbeat.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. And if we had Wheeler last year, who knows what would happen? Like there's so many things we could go back and say. We wish could have went differently. I try to focus as like I put it. You know how that is BC means before Christ.
Yeah.
I put BC before Cohen. Okay, that's the way I'm looking at it as a fan. I mean, and that's how we should look at it, right?
No, we should. We went through years of like getting retreads and getting he used to be an MVP. Oh, we signed a former MVP in 2012. When was he an MVP? Oh, in 1999. How the is he going to help us in 2020? You know what I'm saying?
Michael Kadire.
Yeah.
Because he was best friends with David Wright.
What was it? Remember during the Machado Harper days?
Yeah.
I don't understand how any owner.
Oh, the quote.
Yeah. I don't understand how any owner can pay $300 million for any players. We definitely won't.
Pain. What an idiot that Wilpon. The Wilpons were the worst owners. And I used to fight people on it. They used to talk to me about Dolan. I'm like, I understand Dolan's, moronic decisions in the past, but you guys really don't know what it's like to be rooting for a baseball team owned by the Wilpons.
But at least Dolan, even though he spent money dumbly,
he tried.
The Knicks always have the most expensive roster.
Yes, he tried. He made bad decisions.
He may have overpaid for like Eddie Curry and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But at least he tried.
Yep. And they hid behind the Madoff controversy for reasons why they didn't want to spend, which was a freaking crime. And I said it, and I always say it to the day that I'm worm food. These idiots were already that way before the Madoff thing hit. That's number one. And number two, it took Omar Minaya to force them to spend money, when he got there in 2005 and 2006, so forth. Or we wouldn't even have had that bit of history, Nope. He basically was the only ever GM to convince them that, hey, you have to try. You have to try to spend to be competitive. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
And especially like in a market like New York, as well as I do, and everyone else out there listening, you spend in a big city, you win in a big city, you're going to get paid in a big city.
There you go.
You'll see more Met hats. You'll see more Met jerseys. You'll see more Met memorabilia all over the place. More people will come to your freaking games. They'll pay higher prices to come to your games.
Absolutely. And it's like people forget because it was so long ago. There used to be a Met town when they were good. It used to be like that when Darryl and Doc and all these guys, Keith Hernandez was there.
Keith Hernandez, Gary Carter, Mookie.
They had a time. Yeah, they had a time where the Mets actually had a big chunk of the city more worried, more excited than the Yankees did. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. This is not one of those things like I'm here to say, Mets rule this. No. This city is big enough for two baseball teams to be good. It's just the problem is that the Mets haven't been good enough lately to remember that they could be, and now we are.
8 million people in the city proper, and then in the metropolitan area, you have about 12 to 13 million people. That's more than enough people to root for both teams.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So
there is a legit fan base just as much as the Yankee fans are.
And baseball is fun when they're both good.
Yes.
When New York is rocking baseball wise, baseball is more fun. That's a hill. There you go. That's a hill I'll die on. Honestly.
There you go.
When the Mets,
all facts.
When the Mets aren't the LOL Mets, when they're good and the Yankees are good and New York is buzzing, baseball is better. I don't care. I don't care what anyone says.
No doubt about it.
Even here in Colorado, like, of course, the Yankees are sold out every time they come. They're the freaking Yankees.
Yeah, they're going to draw all the time, everywhere they go.
And even on down years, you should see like the crowds that the Mets get when they come here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Mets travel well.
50,000 fans in a stadium. Even on a down year, you can get 35,000 fans out there in Coors Field for the Mets game.
Right.
Not freaking bad for a team that doesn't have a lot of winning history.
That's right.
And that happens more than people think. I lived in freaking Augusta, Georgia. I used to go to Braves games all the time. We used to invade freaking Turner Field all the time.
Absolutely.
All the time. Are you kidding me? There were so many more Met fans out there. Even though, remember, the Braves were kicking our asses too.
Yeah, they were. And we were still present.
We were still out there repping. And there would be more Met fans than Braves fans out there because like the Braves, they tried that chop. And we just shot them down. Let's go, Mets. And they're like, oh, damn, when did we end up in New York?
And that's what made it feel so good for us last year to win that game to qualify for the playoffs in Atlanta the way they did like that, man. It was like a moment of, hey, man, this is not before. Like, we recognize how good you are, but you're going to have to deal with us, okay? And now the fans were finally rewarded for checking in every time. Riding with the team, even when the Braves owning our asses every year. And they still rode out and was there present, and it finally paid off, man. And I agree with that, bro. This city is enough for two baseball teams, okay? And as it should. When one team is doing better than the other one will get more headlines. That's the way it should be. You know what I'm saying? But when they're both good, and when they're both good at the same time, there's room. There's room. This is not a Knicks and Nets situation. This is not the same. The Mets fan base is established here in this city. Okay. When they're good, the city is better. And just like when the Yankees are good, the city is better. There's enough for two. And I look forward to that this season. So, the Yankees, I believe, will be a good team. I do think they are not. I'm not sure if they're as good as they were last year. But in some ways they are. And I know pitching-wise, they definitely are much better.
Their lineup, to me, is a little bit deeper than it was last year. I won't say.
Think so. Okay.
I wouldn't necessarily say losing Juan Soto is huge. Obviously, is huge.
Big time.
But I mean, Bellinger is only 29 years old. Like, people are making it seem like that dude is over the hill. He was a freaking MVP just a few years. You know what I'm like?
Yeah.
Just a few years ago, my man was hitting 40. He's gonna bounce back. And if he bounces back by batting behind Judge, and he can put up 40 like he used to, and bat like I know Bellinger can, okay, yeah, they'll be good. My question marks are Goldschmidt.
Yes.
Defensively, he's gonna give him what
defense. He's an upgrade, no doubt.
But offensively, he's been on the downslide the last couple of years.
37, man.
And he's 37. That's Stanton's already hurt.
JD Martinez was 37 last year, wasn't he?
Yeah.
38.
Yep. And you see, he wasn't starting for us.
Yeah.
But I mean, he also isn't as good defensively. So I mean,
no, absolutely not. No.
But Giancarlo Stanton, he's already hurt. Like, it's like.
In other news, water is wet.
And I hate that. And I hate saying that. But yeah, like, I saw somebody joke about it online that like maybe he's hurt from carrying the Yankees in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, because that's one thing he does. That dude will turn up in the playoffs.
He'll turn up in the playoffs, but it's like, dude,
it's getting him there. That's what it's about.
Yeah, and that's what I'm worried about is that like one of these injuries are just going to be like, you know what, it's season ending. Like he's not even going to be back for the playoffs.
Yeah,
and then what do they do then with him?
Man.
I think Jazz is going to be good. I think he's going to be really good in that lineup. I think Wells is going to be good. I think Volpe is going to be good.
Their situation.
To me, yeah, their biggest weakness is third base. Is DJ LeMahieu at third.
Ugh.
That is like that. I don't like that. Like that's to me is like I don't like him being there at all. I don't like him in their lineup. Like put like if they could, I know they would. Like on the bench. Like he can't be starting for them every day. Yeah. Maybe he has a bounce back year. You know, maybe he does. Like and hopefully for them that he does. But no, like that's their biggest weakness to me personally, defensively and offensively, is him.
Right.
I will say about Dominguez, there's a reason they called that kid the Martian.
Yeah.
That kid, I seen him up close and personal when I was working at the for the All-Star game here in Coors. He was here for the Futures game. He was probably the best freaking player out of all of them, and he already looked like a freaking major leaguer back then. Right.
He's got a lot of talent.
If that dude is ready, him, Judge, and Bellinger, they can lead that lineup by themselves.
Yeah,
like, seriously.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Like, that's all they need. And then with the pitching, obviously, I don't see. Okay, this is just me. I don't know how Yankee fans feel. Me personally, I don't see another team in the American League that can mess with them.
Yeah. Well, listen. I got a little more questions about their lineup. I like their pitching a lot better than their lineup, to be honest. I agree with some takes you just had. To me, the two things is this with me. First of all, Volpe, I am not sold on that kid. I'm sorry. I don't see what the hype was about. I think he's a nice player, but in my opinion, to this point, now I'm not saying he can't finally take a step. I'm not saying that because he's young.
Yep.
But to me, it kind of feels like I'm Ahmed Rosario all over again with that kid. Just like too much expectation. Yeah, you know what I mean? Too much expectation for him and the kind of player he can become. You know, I think I know he had a big hit in the World Series. He had a grand slam. That was a nice big hit, but it was already down 3-0 in that series. He didn't do much until that point. His regular season was not really that good, to be honest. And for the Yankee fans out there, and you know who you are, that were just going into town on me and people I know about how he's better than Francisco Lindor.
He's better than Lindor.
Knock it off.
Yeah.
Knock it off. That kid is nowhere near the player Francisco Lindor is. And I'm not saying
can he be there one day? Yeah, of course he can be. But right now, maybe. No, not right now.
No. I had a lot of people tell me that. A lot
I remember seeing it. I remember.
You know, and it was not just one guy. It was a lot of. It was a lot of that online.
Saying that Volpe was better. I remember.
Yeah. And to me, I need to see a big jump from that kid. Okay, I need to see. First of all, he plays in a bandbox, so you know, hitting like 10, 15 home runs or whatever. You know, and or 20, that should be automatic for that kid in that place. That's number one. His defense has to improve. Okay. No doubt he has the range, no doubt about it. He can make the plays, but it's got to be more consistent. And in RBI situations with runners on base, he has to become a more clutch hitter consistently.
But I think that's why the additions that the Yankees made to the lineup help him.
Yes.
He's not batting higher. He'll be batting more like eighth, I would believe. You know what I'm saying? So there's not as much pressure for him to try to drive in runs. Where they're trying to bat him because they didn't have a choice. Right. They had to try to bat him behind like Stanton sometimes, because they didn't really have anybody else. Because once you got the top part, like got past the top of the Yankees lineup, that was it.
Yeah, that was it.
And I think that's why these signings are a little bit more important. It even puts somebody like a Jazz Chisholm like batting fifth. Like that, that's not a bad problem to have. Like
Yeah.
him batting 5th and like Goldschmidt 6th, Wells 7th, Volpe 8th. You see, that's where the key is. He's gonna be more asked to be get on base for that top of that lineup now instead of driving in runs.
Well, that's a lot of last year. He batted 9th a lot for that team, and you know
Yeah.
how in today's baseball, the 9 hitter is supposed to be the second leadoff hitter.
The second leadoff man,
and his on base percentage and his OPS were not good.
No.
So he's got to improve that. He cannot have that kind of year for the Yankees or their debt, because Juan Soto can't save them this time. And Bellinger's a solid player. I'm not here to say he isn't, but he's not Juan Soto.
No,
and there's a reason why. There's a reason why at this point in his career is where he is. When he was with the Dodgers, he was an MVP. But and to give him credit, he did a very good job for the Cubs. I thought he did a very good job for the Cubs.
Yeah, he was admirable. I liked him there.
Yeah. So he'll be a nice piece. And in that ballpark, he should hit some home runs.
The short porch, like he should get.
His swing is tailor made for that park. So that is good. Goldschmidt, I'm not on that. I need to see. I didn't like what I saw from him last year. Now, listen, Goldie used to kill me, the Mets. So so that's how I know there's a drastic change with him, because when he used to come up, he had us like,
crap.
Every time. Every time.
Crap. Now it's like, all right, it's Goldschmidt. Yeah, like we can deal with this now. Yeah, no, I agree. But that's the thing. You know as well as I do, though, there's something about these guys, though, when they put on the freaking pinstripes. Something happens to these dudes. All of a sudden, they become, even if it's just for 1 year, they become freaking Super Saiyan for like 1 year. And then all of a sudden, they rediscovered their stroke and became the player they were. And it's just like, you son of a, like, what the, seriously?
Where was this, right? Well, they better hope that Goldschmidt does not turn into Matt Holliday when they signed Matt Holliday years ago. Because when Matt Holliday first got there in the beginning, I remember that was the year of the baby bombers, when Judge, and what was it, the catcher that slips my mind. He was there too as well. Sanchez and these kids, all these guys came up. Matt Holliday was a big part of that, a big part of that team early in the season, where they got to a big start. And then everybody kind of just got in place and they took off. But then in the second half, he disappeared. He was unplayable out there.
Yeah.
So they got to hope that Goldschmidt does not turn into a Matt
But you know what? They're actually in a good situation for that too, though. Ben Rice is right there. That kid is pretty good.
He's got talent.
Right there. He's got talent. Like he has some pop, and he's a pretty decent first baseman defensively. I think they just wanted somebody to give him a little bit more seasoning. Does that make sense? Like, just give Rice just a little bit more seasoning. That's all he really needs. Because he has some at bats, and he looked good in some of the at bats. He didn't look lost. He looked like he could be a big league hitter.
Goldie is the kind of veteran that can really help that kid. I do
learn from him, definitely.
Leadership, everything.
Agreed. He would definitely to be a mentor, take him under his wing, teach him how to be a professional. Yeah.
I agree with you, Ramon, and I think that should be the plan for the Yankees, that eventually we want Ben Rice to kind of take this job. Yeah. We want him to force us to make a decision on Goldie, because in my opinion, I just think it's unfair to expect this guy Goldie to become, MVP Goldie for this team. I don't think that's what you're looking for.
I agree.
If you can give me 25 bombs and kind of, be steady, whatever, that's what, then, hey, you take that and run. But I think Ben Rice, you want him to push him for that job and help his development, Goldie, help his development.
Agreed.
Hey, let's see what happens. Let's see. Cliff checking in. What's goody, Cliff? How you feeling, brother? Thanks for checking in. I don't know if you're watching the game or not, but Mr. Juan Soto had a home run to lead off his spring debut. So, hey, it's a beautiful thing, baby. It's a beautiful thing. Thanks for checking in, brother.
Sure.
But I also want to retouch on Clay Holmes' debut today, man. He was solid. He was really good today. Yes. And again, split squad game. No starters out there. I get it. But, hey, you want to see these kind of numbers against that. That shows there's something going on that's in a positive direction. And that's what you want, because we all know he is transitioning from the pen to the starter. And I thought he looked very good today. Very
Yes.
economical. 3 perfect innings, 3 Ks, and 26 of his 34 pitches were strikes.
Yep.
So he was throwing out, going out there, throwing strikes. Topped out at 98 miles an hour on the gun too. I saw that too.
Yeah, that shit was popping. Yep.
Yep. Change up. He's been working. He looks like he's throwing the four-seamer more. Since now as a starter, Hefner doing what he do. Stearns pitching lab, all of that. They told him, hey, start throwing your four-seamer more if you want to make this work. And a changeup that looks very nice so far.
Yep. Yeah. Like if he can make the transition, like Seth Lugo, like you and I have had this conversation, like Seth Lugo did. Holy crap, that would, because that's my biggest worry about this team is the rotation. Honestly, that's it. It's the rotation.
Yeah,
because I love and we'll talk about it obviously later, but I love the way our lineup looks right now.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the lineup since you brought that up. What is your projected lineup you want to see 1 through 9?
All right.
What would you want to see?
Lindor starting. He'll be leading off. After he became the leadoff man last year, like that dude just went nuclear. Like, and you can't move him from there. You can't.
Yeah.
And then you have Soto right behind him. Soto's your number 2 guy. So then right after that, you got your power bat. You got Pete. And then after him, I actually would put Nimmo on after that. And the reason is because twofold. Nimmo gets on base. Nimmo puts the ball into play.
Okay, I like that.
Vientos after Nimmo, another power bat. So if Nimmo gets on base, we got somebody else. Now, DH, I could go either way. It could either be Jesse Winker for me when he's not playing, when he's not spelling one of the outfielders. It could be Sterling Marte for me when it's not. It could be Juan Soto for me if he just wants to take a break from the field. Pete Alonso.
I think that's in play. I definitely think that's in play.
And that's the thing about the Mets depth. We can put any of these guys at DH if we need to because we have that much depth on the bench too. And we'll get into that obviously. Winker, Marte, like I said. Alvarez batting 7th. McNeil, I would still start at McNeil, batting 8th. And either Terry or Siri batting 9th.
Yes, I like that.
Like that would be my projection, my lineup going into the regular season, personally.
Right. I like that. And you make, as always, you make a lot of sense and your reasonings are sound. And I definitely think that could, and I can live with that. If that was the direction, I'll say, hey, let's do it. Let's see how it goes. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you can go either wrong. And that's what's great about this, about the depth and the lineup. What you see now that Soto and Alonso are together is so much length. It is so much length, and it's going to be beautiful. And this will be my 2025 projected lineup. See, I got Lindor, of course, leading off, and Juan Soto hitting second and right. There's no debate. I don't want to hear no one tell me anything different. You don't mess around with that.
Argue with your mama.
Argue with your mama. Straight like that. You got 2 MVP candidates hitting their prime. You put them together. You don't mess with that, okay? These 2 guys are a different caliber player. You don't mess around with that, okay? In a perfect world, what you want is Lindor setting it off, getting things started, Soto getting it done, and making it much easier for everyone behind them to do what they do. So that's what you want, okay? That's what you want. High on base percentage, high OPS. You just don't fuck around without Soto in the second. You don't go no further than third. And the only way I'm going third with Soto is if we got certain liners with guys taking days off or something. That's it. That's the only way you do that. Other than that, you leave him at second.
Yep.
Pete Alonso, I got him third. And I got him third because, to me, this is what you want. You want him relaxed in the third hole in RBI situations, and giving Soto his protection, making sure that Soto sees the pitches he needs to see. And also, he's going to help in Alonso in so many ways. Either Soto's going to be driving those runs in, or he's going to give him more opportunities for Alonso to do it. He's going to be taking pitches. He's going to work in that bat. Make sure Alonso and the rest of that lineup sees what the pitcher's throwing in the game so they can be ready for it. I mean, you want Alonso to be the guy to give the protection, There's no doubt in my mind it's going to work that out. And you know what? It's now or never, my guy. It's now or never. Alonzo cannot have an off year. If he has, he can go. I'm sorry to say it. It is what it is. And I don't think he's going to have an off year. I think he's going to have a good year. So
I think he's going to force the Mets' hand.
Yeah, and that's honestly what you want.
He's going to be like either me or Vlad. And that would be a great problem to have.
That's what you want. That's exactly what you want. As the Mets just took a 5-1 lead, looks like so who drove that kid in? 5-1. See the replay here. Is that number 0? Got an RBI hit, RBI double. Yep, RBI double. Let's see. I don't know.
Salentino.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Another who's who in spring training, but got the job done.
That was a good hit.
Yep, good hit. So good job by him. 5-1 Mets in the bottom of the 8th as spring training game 1 is about to be over very soon. So that's would be my top 3. Now, the only difference I have, we're sharing a brain for the most part on this lineup, but the only difference is I have Vientos hitting behind Alonso. I just think Alonso needs protection as well. And I think Vientos is the guy you want, unless it's like a tough lefty that we're going against that day. Then I would swap Nimmo in ahead of him, or whatever. Or tough righty, I should say, not lefty, righty, I should say. Then I would swap. But I think Vientos, the way he played last year, bro, what he meant to this team, and so many big hits, so many big clutch situations, and the kind of play he had a historic playoff run.
That's what I was going to say. His freaking playoff run, like,
oh man,
that's ridiculous.
He was.
You see still superstars now that hold under the pressure, and this kid is like.
I mean, Yankee fans would have, and this is no disrespect, but the Yankees would have loved to get a run like that out of Aaron Judge. What we got from Vientos. I mean, we would never hear anyone complain about.
Judge and Soto going crazy. Like they would probably won the World Series. Yeah,
absolutely, and that's the kind of playoff run Vientos had. I see superstar budding. I've always said, if you remember, he's our Correa 2.0. I always felt like that he had that kind of power, that kind of tools in the bag. It was just all about the defense with him. His defense was adequate last year. Took a little jump improvement, hopefully continues to keep going higher. I just love what I saw from Vientos. And I think
funny because I heard somebody say that on MLB Network not too long ago that they were talking about Vientos. And they were like, he's like Carlos Carrera 2.0. And I'm like, you sons of bitch, you guys are listening into our stuff for like.
Yeah, they got us tapped, bro. I want my copyright because I even put it on Twitter for those who follow me on Twitter. I even put it on Twitter all year last year. Yeah, MLB. Come see more for sports, baby. Put the check in the mail, baby.
Check in the mail.
Man, I just really feel like he is on the cusp of superstardom. I really do. That kid is special. And I love the idea of him following up in that top 4. Oh, man, bro. If that top 4 goes the way it could potentially go, the Mets are going to have a special lineup. And then you got Nimmo hitting 5th. Brandon Nimmo, the consummate vet, the consummate professional, always a professional at bat.
Always on base.
Always on base. And he took a jump this year with the home runs and the RBIs, man. And if that continues to develop in his game, and he puts that together with the on base. Now, he was playing through some injuries last year, so it took a little dip in the second half, but he was an all-star, in my opinion, in that first half.
He is.
These dogs deserve to be all-stars, and it was a crime they did not make it.
When Brandon Nimmo is playing to his full potential, he's as good as any player in the league. I don't care what anyone says, honestly.
Yeah,
that's how good he is. Brandon Nimmo is amazing.
Yeah.
Because people don't understand. Like, I've seen him play center field at Coors Field. Coors Field is cavernous.
It is a fucking Grand Canyon out there.
And he made it look so easy just running through and catching just fly balls and some of the plays that he makes, like very underrated defender. robbing home runs, throwing people out, diving for balls. Like he's always going to give you 110%, and I love that about him.
Absolutely.
I love that about him. Yep.
Absolutely. Always going to play hard. Always gives you a tough at bat.
Always
Never
has a
needs to
freaking
play
smile
the
on his
field.
face.
Yeah,
Always.
of course. He loves the game.
Always.
He loves being a Met. And
I
that's what
love
you
that.
want. And that's what you want. You know, he loves being a Met. And when there's, you know, in the past where it hasn't been really fun to be a Met, especially playing under the owner of the Wilpon tutelage, he's been there since then. So to me, he always gets my respect. He could have went when he took free agency. He could have went to the top dollar and said, "I'm out of here and I'm gonna go cash in."
There's so many teams that offered him a lot more money than the Mets.
Yeah,
we'll talk offline about that. Like,
no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
There were so many teams that offered him so much more money, and he's just like, "We're close."
Yeah,
that's why he came back. He said, I mean, obviously, money helps. Let's not kid ourselves.
Of course,
but he was like, "We're close." Why would I want to leave somewhere where we're close to go rebuild somewhere else? That's just dumb.
Yeah. And you got to appreciate that about him. That one. And listen, let's not forget, before the big time Francisco Lindor home run in that 9th inning against Atlanta, Brandon Nimmo had the big hit. He had a 3-run homer in that top of that 8th when they made the comeback, and which really should have been game, set, match right there. Before Diaz blew the save in the top of the 9th or whatever the case, on the bottom of the 8th, whatever the case, before the big Lindor moment. But, you know, he's been here through the trenches, you know, and unfortunately he missed the 2015 run. But listen, he's a man, and you want that, and you're glad to see that he still works hard enough to keep improving his game. So, hey, if he gives us these 25 home run type of season with near 100 RBIs, with a high OPS and OBP, and keep playing good in left field, hey, listen, this team is going to be real good. Now we go to the DH. Now I'm all in on a platoon. I'm all in on a platoon, and I think it's got to be lefty righty, and it just makes too much sense for so many levels. Jesse Winker, man, I love that dude, man. When he got here, he brought an attitude, and you know I've said many times on this channel during the season, and I said it, you know, anyone that knows me, because you do in our chats and everything. I've said the Mets have been missing an attitude. There was too many good guy stuff the last few years, and I just felt like they needed someone to bring a little edge to the locker room. And when they got Winker, it don't get no more edge than that. And I love what he brings, the energy he brings, the fire, getting under the skin. He's the type of player, if you don't know him, you hate his guts if he plays for the other team. But when he's on your team, that's your guy.
Yeah, keep doing what you're doing.
That's your guy.
You're exactly right.
That's your guy, man. I love what he brings. And listen, he's a good outfielder as well.
Those are glue guys. Yeah. Those are guys that like you have your superstars, you have your average players, you know, you have your guys that aren't, that are just kind of there. And then you guys have guys like him that are good players, but they bring everyone there's something about them, you know, like there's like like their personality is just so infectious that you're just like, all right, you know, I'm gonna go hang out with this dude real fast. Let's go have some fun, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing with him. It looks like he's always having fun. Always having fun.
Always.
And before we get going back to the whole glue guy, I hope we find a way to bring back Jose Iglesias. I really do.
I hope so too. I just don't know where he's gonna fit. That's the problem. I hate it when they got what's the guy Madrill? What's his name? The guy from the Cubs. I know who you're talking about, man. I knew the writing was on
Mandrill.
Yeah. He's all right. I was not impressed like that with him when he played for the Cubs. He's all right, I guess. Maybe we catch lightning in a bottle with him as well, but. I just think maybe, you know, Iglesias priced himself out. That's another problem. He was, and you can't blame him. No. You know, this is gonna be his last payday. He's trying to
strike while the iron's hot. Yep, strike.
Yeah. Yep. You know, this is his time.
Besides the pay, like I mean, his agent. I mean, I think that I think the Mets are done messing with Boris for the rest of the year until
Yeah,
next
yeah,
free agency. I don't
yeah.
think they want to mess with him again.
I
Seriously,
think they have Boris fatigue, no doubt
and
about
they
it.
really do. I think so. You can see
And
it
I
on
don't
Steve
blame them.
Cohen. You can see it on Steve Cohen's face, like when they're interviewing him, when they asked him, he was like, "Oh, I got to answer a question about this dude again. Oh my god!" Like, ah,
Oh my God, bro. It's so crazy, man. Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. It's Cohen fatigue. And, unfortunately, Iglesias looking for that last payday. I think he does want to come to the Mets. There was an interview I saw the other day with Heyman. He had that he was talking about, hey, until I sign somewhere, I'm still want to come back. You know what I'm saying? So I think the longer it festers into the season, the more likely he'll probably return eventually. I think so. He actually fits the Yankees too, what they need at third base. So I'm really
you
surprised
know
they
what?
didn't
I
do it.
agree. You got somebody.
I don't want to say it. I didn't want to really say that out loud because I want
He's
him
not a
back.
power hitter, obviously, but I mean, he's high average guy, high on base guy who plays
Good
really good,
defense,
plays good defense. You can't go wrong with him.
versatility.
And then you could put him anywhere on the infield. He'll give anyone a spell. Like, no, I would.
Yeah,
That would be a great signing for the Yankees.
I think so
I would
too.
sign him and put him as their starting third baseman right now.
Right now, I'll do it. Right
Right
now.
now,
Right now.
honestly.
Right now, absolutely. And he would give insurance in case of injuries to the infield, with Volpe and Jazz Chisholm and all these guys, Peraza, these guys, that's what you want. You want versatile. Today's MLB is about versatility. You want guys that can play some more positions, the better. And he definitely would fit the Yankees. But I do think his heart is in Queens. I think he wants to come back. But right now, he kind of priced himself out, and because of the roster flex. And unless an injury happens, it's going to be tough because he's not going to take a minors deal. He's not doing that again. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him,
He proved that he belongs on a major league roster.
Yeah. He did that last year. Yeah, he did that last year, and good for him. Sticking to his guns, saying, "No, I'm a major leaguer. I'm not going to no team," because I'm hearing things like, maybe you have, but I've been seeing stuff that possibly that's one of the reasons why teams haven't signed him. Not just because of the demands of what Boris is asking for, but some teams value him more as, hey, can we get him on a minors deal and kind of like hold him and see if we get an injury, we can bring him up. He's not for that. He did that last year. He proved himself last year as well. So good for him on that, sticking to his guns.
Agreed.
But I think his heart is in Queens. And, hey, let's see what happens. Injuries happen. It's 162. It's a marathon.
162. Or
so let's see what happens going forward there.
But final in Point St. Lucie, Mets win 6-2.
Okay, all right. So the Mets win their spring training Port St. Lucie debut 6-2 today, and of course the big highlight of the game is Juan Soto hitting a home run his first at bat, and also Mr. Clay Holmes looking very very good in his 3-inning stint, which is a good sign for both things. And like we said, it's a split squad game. It wasn't their starters, but nevertheless a good start to the spring and stuff you want to see, good things to take from there. So good job by the Mets today and the guys. I also want to say Marte as my DH platoon. And there was a lot of talk in the offseason that Marte was on the trade block and they were looking to move him, and they almost did a couple times, but they resisted. And I just think as long as you're on this team, there's some real value with him being the guy that hits the lefties on the DH team, on DH side of things.
Agreed.
A Winker Marte platoon at DH for the most part, I'm interested in that because I think the lineup stays extended no matter what's out there, and I like that.
Agreed.
So as long as they don't move. Now, you could see Marte move because of his salary and his age down the road, maybe by the trade deadline for a move. But as of right now, I really like a Winker Marte DH platoon.
Well, and I just like that whole outfield rotation that the Mets have between Soto, Nimmo, Winker, Marte, Taylor, and Siri. Like that's deep. I like that rotation because if one of those guys, it happens. One of those guys needs a day off,
especially Marte when he gets hurt a lot. So
those guys can just fill right in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we know that if something happens center field wise with Taylor or Siri, we know Nimmo slides right in.
Right.
Shit, Marte can slide right in sometimes too. Because sometimes we forget how freaking athletic he still is.
Yeah, yeah. And it's all about just keeping him healthy. You know, it's just a situation where he can't play every day anymore. You know, he has too many injuries at his age. He's still very athletic. He's still good at what he does, and he's a really good bat in your lineup. But he's not a guy you want to kind of count on to be at the top of the batting order.
Yeah.
But you also don't want to count on him for 162 in the outfield every day. So I just think, you know, the versatility that this Met roster now has, like you said, move him around in the outfield. You need to give Soto a day off, you know, from the outfield, and maybe DH him. If anything, you can put Marte back there, right? You know, to hold it down. Things like that. You know, that's what you want to see. The Mets have a lot of versatility, a lot of in this roster, and they can make those kind of moves. You know, so I like that DH combo for now, right there. And at catcher, of course, Alvarez. And I'm expecting a big year from Alvy. I'm telling you right now. And to me, he is my key to the whole team. Because if we get Alvy from 2 years ago with that bat, because I'm telling you right now, I really feel strongly about this. And I said this many times. That thumb injury really messed his season up last year. Because when he came back, he was struggling with that thing.
He didn't look the same. He didn't
look the same.
Like he was kind of favoring it. You know, it kind of changed his swing too.
And he had a lot of wild pitches, pass ball situations where he wasn't getting that glove down, and you know,
it's like he was scared to hit the ground because he was scared he was going to re-injure it. You know,
and a lot of people didn't say any much about that, but I really feel like that was a factor. But go ahead.
I agree, because like the thing with him, every pitcher has said it. He calls a hell of a game.
He does.
He's a really framework. He's not one of the top framers in the league like an Austin Wells. Like that dude is elite at that. But he does pretty darn well, like framing and things like that. And he has a pretty decent strength in his arm. Once he gets it all together, and that's the thing. Isn't he still only 22?
22, 23 years old. That's why he really is. He's young and he's still gonna get better.
You know what I'm saying?
The sky's the limit for that kid. And I say he has the talent to be the best catcher in baseball. And if people don't see that, I don't know what to tell you.
No, he has it. He has the tools. You can call a game. You have the arm strength. You have all the – because the thing with catchers, we have a lot of catchers that are really good defensive catchers in Major League history. Like Benito Santiago is probably the best defensive catcher in Major League history.
Throwing asses out from the knees.
You know what I'm saying? But he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
He could not hit for shit. It's true.
This dude can do both. And that doesn't happen a lot with catchers.
Even Yadier Molina, when he first came up, you know, he was not good for his bat. But he was great defensively, and eventually he worked on his bat and was a solid hitter.
Yeah.
And a Hall of Famer, in my opinion, too.
Yep.
You know? So, except when he hits home runs against us off in the playoffs. You know?
I don't remember
that. But yeah, man, that's like you said, he has the tools, and I really feel like he is on the cusp as well. Him and Vientos, I'm looking at them in a certain length of player right now. I just feel like they're on the cusp, man. You know, I think Vientos, different tiers of cusp, but they're on the cusp. I think Vientos is on the cusp of being a superstar. And I feel like Alvarez is on the cusp of being an all-star. And I really, really am looking forward to having him work with Juan Soto, because Juan Soto is going to work on this guy's plate discipline, because that's the only thing missing with his bat is the plate discipline without. Chasing pitches on the outside, committing too much, overswinging sometimes. You know, he can get into that overswing and trying to hit 5-run homers, especially when he's not seeing the ball well. He tends to press that way. I think having a hitter like Winker and especially like Juan Soto is going to help this guy's development as long as he's healthy, man.
I agree. And where he's batting in the lineup is going to help him too. You know, and especially. And that's my biggest thing is like when you're batting in the same spot in the lineup every day, that helps.
Yes.
Because then you know what's expected of you, in that lineup.
Play free.
Because like when obviously, like 2 years ago, he was hitting so well that the Mets even batted him third and fourth in some lineup,
Right.
Because that's how well he was hitting.
Yeah. He got up to a great start early, man, before that injury, man.
Yeah. Can he get like that again to the point where like he's pushing Pete to be the third bat? I think he can.
That's a good problem to have.
I think he has the problem. I think he has the power to do that. And like you said, it's his bat discipline. It's his plate discipline. Once he gets that and he starts noticing like the actual like the balls coming in and like what he's looking for, and like you said, Juan Soto is going to be used to teaching him that.
Yes, absolutely.
Juan Soto is the best in the league at recognizing balls and strikes coming out of the freaking hand. He lets you know pretty much like when he's shuffling.
Yep, absolutely.
It's going to be a ball or a strike. So
absolutely.
Learning from him, come on, man. Like it could only be good. Only good for
him. Absolutely. I totally agree with you, man. I really feel like Alvy is going to make that jump, and I'm expecting him to be an all-star. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's starting in the all-star game this year. That's the kind of expectations I had. Maybe a little too strong, but that's okay. I really believe in this kid. I really believe in this kid, and I'm gonna die on that hill. I believe if healthy, he is going to become the best catcher in baseball eventually. I don't know what year it'll be, maybe this year, next year, whatever. Whenever that happens, healthy, this kid is going to be the real deal. And like you said, he's still young, so he's got time to get there. And if he becomes that, this lineup is going to cook.
And and people don't understand that how important that position is.
It really is.
If you have catcher locked up, that does so much, because most teams look for catchers almost every freaking year.
They have the most free agents every year available. Every year.
Yeah, because guys,
Yep.
So if you can get a catcher that's going to play for you 10, 15 years,
yes,
you never have to worry about that. Like, okay, you're going to obviously use some draft picks to look for, but you're not using a first round, second round, third round draft pick. Like, you can experiment a little bit. You can be like, all right, I'll take a catcher in the fifth instead of the first.
Right. And that's what you want, man. That is what you want. You want to have your catcher day in, day out. You ain't got to worry about him. As long as he's healthy, he's going to take care of my pitching staff. He is basically the extension of the pitching coach to the field. That's what you want. Once that's there, hey, the sky's the limit. And that's one thing I've always seen since he's gotten into the league as a rookie. Either Max Scherzer, Verlander, DeGrom, they all gave him credit. Like, we like throwing to him. We like this guy. And that's a big deal. When you got Hall of Famers saying that to you, and saying that publicly about your guy, you got something special there. And I really feel like that.
What was it?
As a rookie at that.
Yeah, it was one game where they tried to change the catcher for it was Scherzer pitching, and he was like, no. He's like, no. Yeah. Like, I'm used to pitching this dude catching me. Like, he's gonna
give me out.
Like,
that's a good point. I remember that.
Yeah, like he was just like, nah, like I'm not pitching them. Like, put somebody else in. Like, I want to pitch to him. Yeah. That's my catcher.
Yeah, and to get that from a Hall of Famer, man, that's as a rookie.
And then even the guys now pitching are saying how good he is.
Yeah, Mania loved him last year. He loved him. He said when he got back from the IL, they loved throwing to him. And he gave credit to Alvy. He said, hey, not just me working on my delivery with Coach Hef, but also, Alvy being out there with me, it was like an extension of that as far as what we were doing, working on the sides in between starts. He had me comfortable being able to have the confidence to do this stuff. That's what you want, man. And I just think the sky's the limit. I'm expecting an all-star caliber season from this kid, and I can't wait to see it, man. I can't wait to see it. I will die on that hill. Alvy is the most talented catcher, I believe, in the league, in my opinion. So also I got, now it could be a little surprise, but if anyone knows me knows, I'm big on Acuna. Yeah. I've been big on Acuna since we traded for him. I want to see, maybe this is more wishful thinking, because I want him to tear the spring up, because I want Acuna as my starting second baseman. I just think, listen, it's no knock on Jeff McNeil. He's a good veteran player. I just think his value at this point in his career is best suited as a utility player, not a starting player day in, day out. And I think Acuna has the kind of talent that if he showed the flashes last year when he came up. Mm-hmm. Let's be honest. And I know people kind of like made a big deal about his numbers in AAA most of the season or whatever. They were kind of unflattering or whatever. That wasn't really like, oh man, you got to bring him up and give him the job. But when he came up, he was a shot in the arm, especially when Lindor was hurt for a couple of weeks down the stretch. Yep. He really stepped up, hit some big home runs, got some big hits, played good defense, did everything he was supposed to do. And I just think Acuna has the kind of talent that if he's out there, he can snatch that second base job. It might not be out the spring, to be fair. It might not be. Maybe shouldn't be. Who knows? But eventually during the season, if you tell me, hey, Acuna is my starting second baseman by May, I would not be surprised. I
wouldn't be surprised either, honestly. I put McNeil up there only because he is the veteran.
Yeah, that's fair.
He does have a little bit more experience, coming straight out of spring training, But like you said, if Acuna Jr. Acuna Jr. is his brother. If Acuna comes out and tears the cover off the ball and he becomes a starter coming out, I would not be angry. Not at all. Especially after. Did you see the winter that this dude had?
Yes.
That series, the Caribbean series?
The Caribbean series, yeah,
he was destroying. He broke the record for most stolen bases in the series.
He just brings so much to the table talent-wise that McNeil does. That's what it is for me.
He's very versatile. Like, you could put him from second to third.
Yep.
You can literally, the dude is athletic enough, you could probably put him from left to right.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Probably put him in the outfield. That's how talented and athletic he is.
Yeah.
And he just reminds me so much of his brother. Like, honestly, everything about him, his batting, his defense, the swagger, the confidence.
Yes.
Like, he doesn't play like a kid that's 22 years old. He plays like he's been here.
Yes.
Like he's like, do you guys know where me and Ronu came from? We came from nothing. We ain't shit.
That's right.
That's where he plays, and he responds that way.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you, man. I would love to see Acuna win his job. He's got the tools. He's got the power. You know what I'm saying? He's got the speed. He's a good defensive player. His strike zone, he's got to work on it. No doubt about it. He has not a flattering chase rate, but he's a young player, man. He's a young player. You get him in with these veterans.
It comes with time. Exactly. Yeah. He's young. It comes with experience. He's going to need more at-bats so he can see it more.
He's got to play, man. He's got to play. And I would love to see him. He would be my starting second baseman to start the season if he does tear the cover up off the ball. I wouldn't be surprised if the Mets do say, hey, we'll send him to start the season in the minors because he has options and they want him to play before they bring him back up. I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. I wouldn't. I don't want them to do that.
Getting at bat still. Yeah, you just don't want him sitting on the bench.
Yeah, I don't want them to do that because I want him to be a part of this team, but I wouldn't be surprised. So, in my opinion, I would love to see Acuna be our starting second baseman going forward, whether it be to start the season or sometime during the season. Okay, he would be my starting second baseman. Yeah, and let McNeil be the guy that's kind of like, play a few times a week, move him all over the place, late defensive substitutions late in the game, those type of things. I think he can bring a lot of value there. He just doesn't have enough consistent power for me, and average-wise, he has not been the batting champion McNeil for the last few years. So I think we have to be honest with ourselves and just say, hey, let's kind of give a role of being that versatile guy, that utility guy.
And that's the wonderful thing, though, about how deep our outfield is.
Right.
We don't have to throw him out there anymore. I love Jeff. I love Jeff because wherever you told Jeff to go play left out, that dude will go play left out. You know what I'm saying? Like he played left, he played
and he won't embarrass you out there either.
But now that we actually have real outfielders, we don't have to see it no more.
Yeah, we don't got to see it.
So now he can just concentrating on playing first, second, even third.
Right.
Because he's athletic enough to play third.
Excuse me. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. So I would love to see that. And in center field, hitting ninth, I would have a platoon, the obvious platoon of Tyrone Taylor and Siri. Tyrone Taylor, listen, he got some big hits for us last year. Let's be honest.
Agreed.
He got some big hits for last year, you know, in the role that he played, you know what I'm saying? Especially in the season. And I love how Mendoza trusted him during the playoff run as well over well, what's his name? Bader last year when we had him. I thought Taylor earned a spot on this team going forward. And, you know, he's athletic. He's not going to embarrass you defensively at all. He's got a great arm in that outfield. He covers a lot of ground in that center field. That's what you want. And, of course, the acquisition of Siri, we know this guy is an athletic freak.
Defensively, this dude is freaking ridiculous. And just like his metric numbers are off the freaking charts.
Yeah.
They're better than almost every center fielder in the league.
Honestly. He's basically our Bader, but better.
But better, yeah. Honestly. Obviously, he leaves a lot to be desired with getting on base and stuff like that. Right. But that's not what he's here for. We don't have to worry about that. Honestly,
late substitutions in games, I can see that for him. You know, getting those starts
to give Taylor a breather or matchups and stuff like that. I can see that. But that's the thing with Siri. Also, he has a really high exit rate when it comes to hitting balls. You know, like
he
hits the ball really well. It's just that he hits them to people all the time. You know, and so maybe he gets lucky this year. Maybe some of those balls land in a part of the outfield that somebody isn't there and he doesn't hit, you know, 190 and he hits like maybe 240, 250 and gets on base 30% of the time, hopefully.
Wasn't it 2 years ago he had like 20 homers, I believe?
Yeah, he has to talk about
it. He's got pop, man. He's got pop. And you know he has that intangible. He's got that winker attitude in him as well.
Taylor and Siri, like together, they make a good outfield. Like I'll take them as a center fielder.
I agree.
Like, together, they're a really good center fielder.
I agree.
And that's okay. Like we have options, and like we've never had options before. Like our guys, like once we got hurt, you know that as well as I do. Once the Mets got hurt at any position back in the day, that was it.
Cool.
They were lost.
Yeah, done.
Now, I mean, God forbid. But now, if we take a hit, it's not going to kill us.
Right. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I love that.
Because not just the outfield, because like you even think, okay, let's just say Acuna's not starting. Let's just say the Mets decide not to send him down and they keep him on the bench. So you'll have him, Brett Beatty, maybe on the bench. And you know what? With Brett Beatty, I think this is just me. I think he's going to have a good year this year. And why? There's no pressure now.
Well, he better be, because he can take that new car he just got from Soda and go drive his ass back to Syracuse. I'm not with it.
But like,
but let's hope you're right, bro. I hope so.
I think he's gonna have a better year because, like I said, no pressure. Because remember, they were always comparing him and Vientos,
right?
But they were giving him the leg up. Remember, Vientos was just an afterthought.
Yeah,
and then Vientos was like, all right, like
that really irritated me, man.
Like, let me introduce myself.
Yeah,
real fast.
I saw so much from the bat with Vientos, even when he wasn't getting his opportunities. Then in those short stints, then when I saw Beatty getting his length of a shot and not doing nothing.
But that was
only difference was defensively, of course. Beatty wasn't that,
and when they kept sending Beatty back down,
the
dude would destroy everything.
Right.
That was the issue.
Yeah, quadruple.
Then they were like, okay, this dude is hitting 400 in the last 3 weeks. Bring him up. And then he's like, he's not hitting anything. All right, send him down. He's hitting 400 again. Bring him up. And he's like, dude, come on. What are you doing?
Dude, they're giving you all the opportunities and you're not cashing in. That's why it was such a beautiful thing to see Vientos do what he did last year when he finally got his length of opportunity that Beatty was able to get.
Because Vientos doesn't take the next step, the Mets are wasting money on a third baseman.
Absolutely. No doubt about it, bro. No doubt about it.
They're probably going to get Bregman. They're probably on the phone right now with St. Louis trying to get Arenado.
Nolan, yeah.
Honestly. And it's just like, thankfully, we haven't had a third baseman in a while. It's been a little bit, honestly.
It's D Wright. That was the last one.
It's just a platoon. Honestly, it has.
Yep. So, hey, let's just hope you're right and Beatty can at least be a good contribution to the team this year. So, You know, and shout out to, by the way, shout out to Juan Soto doing that for the kid. He didn't have to do that.
No,
Shout out to him
no, he
giving
didn't.
him that for that number. That was a nice gesture there.
And the fact that he went out of his way to find
Yeah.
out the kind of car the kid won.
Yeah, that was a nice gesture, man.
And you saw that wasn't fake. You saw that look on his face.
Yeah,
you know,
he really had no idea, and they said it on the telecast too today that he had no idea. They did some sneaky asking him questions about certain things that he wanted, and they found out. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, man, shout out to Juan Soto doing that, man. That was a really, really class act for him doing that for that kid. You know, so let's move on quickly before we wrap this show up to the rotation. Projected rotation is going to be Senga, Minaya, Peterson, Holmes, Montas.
I'm not even. Nope.
Yeah.
I'm not even. He's not even in my rotation anymore. Nope.
Yeah. Nope. I'm annoyed with that one, but I'm gonna just keep it in the back of here as a little confidence in maybe Stearns eventually can get something out of him like we thought last year we couldn't get out of Minaya. So we'll put that back here, but I was never a fan of that signing, but whatever.
I have as of right now, I have Canning or Blackburn as our number 5.
Yeah. I would love to see Brandon Sproat, man. I that's what I'm hoping. I want Sproat taking that spot by May. I know it's not going to happen right away, but I would love to see it. You know, I'm high on that kid, and if he gets his opportunity and runs with it. Maybe the Mets might not even have to make a trade for a pitcher at the deadline. You never know.
Pitcher to look out for. We drafted him a few years ago. Everyone fell asleep on him because remember he was hurt. Matt Allen.
Yeah, I heard he's hitting the gun at 98 right now.
Hitting the gun, and he looks strong as hell.
Yeah,
and he's ready. He's even said it himself. He was like, I wasted too much time. He had first round potential. The Mets got him in the 3rd round. When they drafted him. First, it was an arm, then it was an arm. Now it's not his arm, it was his hamstring now. So he said his arm feels stronger than ever.
Right.
Watch him. Watch him being maybe a middle reliever, long reliever, and I can see him sneaking into the rotation if he shows what he did, but when the Mets drafted him, he could be really big for their Mets rotation and just their pitching in general.
Right.
Like I said earlier, Clay Holmes, if he takes the Seth Lugo leap,
big time. That would be
huge. And if David Peterson adds to what he did last year, if Peterson adds, I'm going to say this. I don't give a shit what anyone says. If Peterson can add to what he did last year, he could be our ace.
I agree. Peterson took a big time jump last year. You know, I didn't have a lot of confidence in him coming into the season, but man, he took a big jump, and he was probably, let's be honest, besides Minaya, he was our best pitcher last year in the second half.
Down the stretch.
Ooh, he was in big games, bro.
Remember, he came in during that Brewers game.
Yes.
When we had just taken the lead, and he was like,
yes.
What are you doing? He was like, I'm shutting you down.
Yes. Big time from him. So I would love that. Obviously, this is what I believe. The biggest key to this rotation, and it is in our strength. And you have to, if you look at the roster, you have to say that probably on paper, the weakest link of the team is the starting rotation. But there is capable starters to get the job done during the season. We just don't have that, I would say, true ace. You know what I mean? But
we have some really good number 2s.
We do. We got 2 very good number 2s, or possible 3 number 2s in Peterson. But I would say right now 2. Yeah. So I think the key is obviously the return health of Kodai Senga. There's no doubt about it. If Kodai Senga can be the pitcher he was 2 years ago when he was healthy, look out. And Minaya stays the course and Peterson stays the course, look out. Then all of a sudden, hey, that top 3 is not too bad. It really isn't.
You become a 3-headed monster. No. Yep, I agree wholeheartedly. And I think that's the Achilles heel for the Mets.
Yeah, I do
Is
too.
there
I
is
do too.
it's just is their rotation. I'm not even worried about their bullpen, honestly. I'm
No,
not worried about the
yeah, I'm
bullpen.
about to get to that. Yep. Yeah, yeah. I
Only
believe I
because
agree.
we ha- we don't, like I said, we don't have the talent, but we have the depth at starting pitching where we could push guys back to
Right.
get into that bullpen.
A
Like,
lot of talk about a 6-man rotation as well. So
yeah, I've heard that being discussed. And it may start like right in the beginning of the year. They may just go to the 6. But
yeah.
me personally, I wouldn't go to 6 until like maybe the middle of the year when like the arms start getting tired. That's
Right.
just me personally.
Right.
Like
Right.
that way, those guys can get a little extra time just to,
Right.
you're still going to throw in between your starts, but
Yeah.
that way you still get an extra day because the dog. That's why they call them the dog days of summer.
All days of summer, baby. That's right.
So like that's when I would go to a 6-man rotation personally, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, the Mets, it's their pitching to me. It's their starting pitching. It's
Right.
whether we win 90 games, whether we win 70 games, it's up to
Right.
them.
Right. Right. The rotation will be the key. And this is why I feel like they will be in the market for a starting pitcher by the trade deadline. We talked about Dylan Cease early in the show, or whoever will be up. I think that will be in play. But man, if Kodai Senga can become what he was 2 years ago, the Mets will be fine getting through to that point. And I would love to see that. And then, of course, the continued steadiness of what we got from Anaya with the new delivery and everything is key as well. And also the continued progression of David Peterson. So let's hope for that. Let's hope for that. As far as the bullpen goes, I think it's the strength of their entire pitching staff. And that's a welcome thing. That's a welcome thing because we all know what the hell we went through last year. We all know what we went through. I got Diaz and a healthy Mentor is probably the 8-9 combo. Of course, that's why they signed Mentor. We all know what Mentor brings when he's healthy, man. The key is health, and we all, it kind of like got me a little funny because the Braves actually let him leave, but which makes you wonder why they did do that. But he actually said he wanted to be here, which is a good thing. And if that 8-9 combo is healthy, and I expect the return of Diaz this year as well. And I don't think people are talking enough about it.
This is technically a contract year for him.
Yeah. You talked about that as well. I'm going to let you chime on that in a moment. But yes, I think the continued progression of him being healthy. Now, a full year in after that, blowing his knee out and that patella injury in the World Baseball Classic. Now he's going to have a full healthy year now. Hey, I don't know if we're going to get 2022 version of Diaz, which was electric and probably one of the best relievers season I've ever seen. But I think we're going to get a whole lot more better than what we got last year. And if you combine that with what Mentor is about, man, that 8 and 9 is strong. I'll take that 8 and 9 combo with anybody. Yeah,
that'll be lights out. Especially, I mean, Diaz, like I said, he has an option, a player option for next year. So that's the big thing with him. And if he does well, he's only 30. He's going to want to get paid again.
Yep, he'll hit that market.
So I think he's going to, and I think he has something to prove.
Yeah.
Because he used to say, there was a while there, he used to say he was the best closer in baseball.
Yes, he was.
And he was. And he was. Yeah, no, he was.
Now, who could argue in 2022? Him and Clase, I mean, they were the two best ones. Yeah. And no one was more electric than Diaz, man. And I remember it was so much Kevin Garnett and Pierce were talking about on their podcast.
All that electricity.
With the trumpets and all of that, man. Come on.
So I think that he has something to prove. I think that, and he wants to get paid. Mentor signing, big signing. I think that he's going to lock down the 8th for us because that's been a kind of a trouble inning for us as well.
Right.
We bring in guys and they throw meatballs like really fast, or they put too many men on base. Mentor doesn't put a lot of men on base.
No, he does not.
And then we have Budo. Like I love him. I think I
love that dude, man.
He was the linchpin of our bullpen last year.
Absolutely. He was the glue holding it. together.
He pitched so many important like innings that people don't like. Oh, he only pitched the 6th inning. Yeah, but he pitched through the heart of their lineup.
Exactly, and that was when our pitchers couldn't even give us more than 4 or 5 innings.
Exactly, and then he pitched the 6th and 7th inning for you, and he was doing that, at a consistent basis. Bringing back Stanek, I liked what I saw from him last year. Like,
especially in the playoffs, he was gas every time.
He looked completely different with us than he did with.
Am I correct on saying? To be honest, am I correct on saying he was our best reliever in the playoffs last year? In my opinion.
No, I wholeheartedly agree. Like, honestly, with Diaz, just like with every other Met closer, as well as I do, the Benitez and Franco times and everything like that. The Mets closer comes in, you grab your chest.
Yes.
You're like, some shit is about to go down.
Absolutely.
When Stanek was coming in last year, like, I was like, he got this. And he was. Yeah. He was blowing people away left and right.
Locked down.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I love that move at the trade deadline, getting him. And, yeah, man. I agree with you, man.
Was big.
Yeah, big time.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it, too. He didn't want it. He wanted to come back.
Yeah.
He loved it here, man.
And that's the difference between guys now and guys in the past. Guys were just coming here. I mean, obviously, you're coming here to get paid, too. Our owner has deep pockets.
Yeah.
But they're not coming here just to get paid. They want to be here now.
Right.
Like, they changed the whole culture of this team, the whole atmosphere. Before, like I said, before it was always LOL Mets, and everybody was always waiting for that.
Right.
LOL if you want to. We're the ones going to be laughing now.
Exactly. This is a new era in baseball, a new era in Met baseball. And, it's time for everyone to just accept. And, the Met haters, the LOL Mets thing, it's not what it used to be. Okay. It's time to accept. And we talked about this in the show we did months ago after the Soto signed during the winter meeting show. It's time to make room. It's not just about the Dodgers, the Yankees. No, the Mets are there right here with the Dodgers and Yankees when it comes to, building teams and going out there and being the big dogs in free agency. And now they're starting to have the success since Cohen has become the owner. Okay, they've had 2 playoff appearances. Okay, they got to the NLCS last year with a team that wasn't even expected to contend. And you got to give credit to David Stearns on that as well. Listen, with any GM, we're going to always have questions of when they make certain moves that kind of be like, I don't know if I kind of like that. But you can't argue with the results. And last year, it proved that they knew what they were doing and they did the right thing. So let's build off that. That's the goal. And the goal is to get to a World Series. That is the bottom line, and this is the expectation. This is the difference in who we are now and how Met fans has to see this now. Now, our expectations is it's about winning. It's not about, let's see. And no.
Hey, we got a winning record. Yay.
Yeah. There's no happy to be here ish no more. There's none of that. We want to win now. And anything short of winning now, getting to a World Series this year is a disappointment. The floor is NLCS because we got there last year and we have an improved roster this year. So you would think, yes. And now it's baseball. Anything can happen. Nothing guarantees anything. You know what I mean? Nothing. The Dodgers have been the best roster in baseball every year, and they have not won it every year, and they continue to add, and we all know the kind of super team that they possess, adding and adding. We know that. But if you're a Mets fan, it is now time to come into the light, and now it's time to say, hey, I want to win, and I expect us to win. And that's where we are as a franchise. And let's hope this year is another step in that.
And shout out to Carlos Mendoza. Like, he feels the pulse of that team. Like that, those players love that dude. They love that dude. Him, Jeremy Hafner, like that whole coaching staff. They love that coaching staff. Why? Because that coaching staff actually takes the time to listen.
Yes.
That's the biggest difference. Like, I love Buck, but Buck is old school. Buck is completely old school. He was just like, my way or the highway. And that can only go too far, especially nowadays with these new athletes. You got to be able to meet them in the middle now. So that team loves him. They love him, and they want to win for him. And that makes me happy.
Right. No doubt about it. So, hey, before we wrap up the show today, Juan Soto Mets spring training debut. He had a home run in his first at bat. So big time box office thing. Good to see. Nothing crazy. We're not getting nuts over here. But it was just nice to see. And against their split squad team, of course, it wasn't against starters or anything like that. But good to see the Mets go out there, have a productive day, and they'll be talking about that going forward. But hey, good to see the Mets back and baseball back, especially when you look outside and you see all that garbage crap slush out there, and you see all that ice out there and the cold weather. You're like, oh my God, when is spring here?
They closed my kid's school on Friday out here in Colorado. That's how much it snowed.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah. For those that don't know, my guy Ramon joining us all the way from Colorado. So this man is dealing with the elements and then the conditions, and he can't wait for the spring.
Oh man, spring is the most wonderful time of the year when it comes to me. With all the snow I got to deal with, give me the spring. I don't care. Like, let's go. And I'm excited for this baseball season. I'm excited to see how both New York teams do. There's a good chance, honestly, there's a really good chance that we can see a Subway Series again. I truly believe that.
You never know. It came close last year, and we didn't. And going to the season, I hadn't had those kind of expectations. No. It almost happened. Almost happened. And for those out there, okay, that probably heard that and was like, get out of here. No, the Dodgers beat the Mets or whatever, and the Yankees played the Dodgers in the World Series. How could you say that? Knock it off. The Mets played the Dodgers very tough, okay? There was some games they kicked our ass, but we kicked their ass in a couple of times too. Okay, So listen, and we all saw what happened with the Yankees when they played in the World Series. Close games, but they lost in 5. So yes, it did almost happen. The Mets and Yankees almost did play in the World Series. Like my guy Ramon said, you never know. You never know. The American League is not as strong as the National League on paper. It just isn't. It just isn't. I think the Red Sox are probably the biggest threat to beat the Yankees in the American League, in my opinion. Houston will probably be there or whatever. They're a good, solid foundation organization. They always patch things together when they lose free agents. They'll be around. But I think, Cleveland might take a step. Who knows? Kansas City, they had a real good year, got a real good young team, superstar Bobby Witt. Hey, with Witt Jr., listen, anything can happen there. But I would have to say the Yankees, defending American League champions, you got to put them up there with anyone. They have an easier road than the Mets do, obviously, because of the division the Mets play in and also dealing with the Dodgers. So we'll see. But you guys better watch out for the Red Sox. That's all I'm going to say. And where I live at in my neck of the woods, Red Sox fans, they feeling themselves right now. So I'll just leave it at that.
I would say that they're the only team, honestly. Like I told you earlier, Baltimore, they have talent, but I think Corbin Burns not signing there. I think big time.
And Santander too.
Yeah, and Santander. Toronto, they're about to rebuild again. Like they're done. And then Tampa, that's the wild card though.
Yeah.
Because you never know with Tampa what the hell they may win 60 games. They may win 103 games. You don't know with Tampa.
Right.
And this may be one of the seasons that Tampa just beats the crap out of the Yankees and wins the division. That's the thing with Tampa. You never know. Like, I'm not going to say that that's what's happening, but you know as well as I do. Tampa, every once in a while, is like, hey, guys, we want to play me. And you're like, where the hell did you come from?
Yep. Very well run organization. Yeah, so you're right about
Cleveland, that. Casey, I don't think Casey did enough this offseason to help supplement.
I didn't think they did enough last offseason, and they were there. So you never know.
Well, yeah, you're right. Cleveland is Cleveland. They're going to always be there. They have talent. Their organization is really good. Like they spot talent and they're really good with that. And then the West, to me, the American League West, to me, is probably at its weakest point it's ever been.
Right.
You have the A's. Yeah, they spent some money, but they're still the A's. Yeah. The Angels, they're not. Mike Trout.
You don't even got a name no more.
You know what I'm saying? Seattle, they always underachieve. You know what I'm saying? Like that West just.
But they got some good pitching, man. They got some good pitching.
and that's about it, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
know.
they have some people in their lineup, but there's a reason why they were reported to every major free agent, like like every first baseman.
Right.
There was a rumor that hey, we'll trade you a pitcher for Pete, last year. Remember?
Right.
Like
Yeah, I
that's
remember
how
that.
much offense they need. So the American League West is at its weakest right now. The Central, 2 teams, and then I think it's just 2 teams in the American League East is the Yankees and the Red Sox. And I give the Yankees the edge because their team was worse last year, I truly believe, because of the rotation and everything else. And they made it to the World Series.
Yeah.
Now they have a better rotation. Now they have like actual options in their lineup.
Yeah.
I don't see another team beating them me personally in the American League. That's just me.
Yeah. Hey, all fair assessments, man. All fair assessments. But man, hey, spring training's back, baby. And the Mets are back playing. That's right, baby. Baseball's back.
Yes,
Get
sir.
ready for the season. And hey, it's only game 1 of spring training, but it's good to see. So that's going to wrap today's show, man. I thank everybody for joining us today. Thanks for my guy Ramon joining me today for the show. Going to see a lot more of this show during the season, and just look out for that. We'll do another baseball show right when the season's about to start, and we'll just kind of preview the year upcoming. But hey, welcome back, baseball. Welcome back.
Yes, baby.
Welcome back, New York Mets baseball.
Let's go.
Ramon, any last words to say before we sign off?
I'm looking forward to this season for 2 reasons. Me personally, for the Mets, and because he had told you before, I work for the Rockies, so for the Colorado Rockies, and baseball is my favorite time of year. I mean, I get to go to every single Rockies home game, and it's awesome. So yeah, I'm ready for this season, and I'm ready to see the Mets and the Yankees how they both do. Honestly, like I'm excited. Let's get it, man. Let's go. Like,
yeah, I think it's going to be a good year in baseball in New York, man. I really do.
Me too.
Do. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. The whole Soto dynamic also plays a part, especially when I mean by that with the 2 best players in their positions. Going head to head as far as the comparisons for the most season. We all know what Aaron Judge is. Aaron Judge is one of the best, if not the best player in baseball. He's right there with Ohtani. We all know when he's healthy what he brings. MVP, defending 2-time MVP, so you can't disrespect the man. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see, especially when those Subway Series games get started. But hey, I can't wait, man. And for all of y'all out there, don't forget about my captain, Francisco Lindor. Don't you forget how good this man is. And he's going to have another big year. And I hope that Met fans now appreciate the player we have. Not just Juan Soto, but also Mr. Francisco Lindor. And by the way, I hope they give this man the seat sooner or later. I don't know if it's this year, next year, whatever going forward, because he is that kind of a leader and that important to this team. So don't forget about my guy, Francisco Lindor. Thank God we got Juan Soto.
Agreed.
So that's going to wrap up the show. Thanks for joining us. Before we go, I just asked anyone new to the channel to like and subscribe to Born for Sports, because I talk all sports. I talk, as you can see, New York Mets baseball in general. Big time Met fan. Shout out to the Mets. Shout out to all the guys out there supporting the New York Metropolitans. That's my guy Ramon is one of those guys. I talk football. I talk New York Giants football. Yes, the off season is here. We're going to see what we do going forward. Who's going to be our quarterback? Another question going forward. Can't wait to get into that in future.
If they even draft the quarterback, because we'll see.
Let's see what happens. I talk New York Knicks basketball. We took it on the chin again against Cleveland last night.
That was ugly.
Got some things we got to going forward to do. Get healthy. Hey, we're still a good team, still up there. We just got to beat those good teams. But we talk Knicks basketball here on as well. I talk all sport, Yankees, Jets, Nets, Anything you want to talk about in the world of sports, especially New York sports. Like and subscribe. Born for Sports. Let's go Mets.
Let's go.